Alright, it's a new month. Where is everybody? I haven't seen anybody in a couple days, but I guess the show must go on. What the? Seriously, what was that? Speaking about that, I haven't seen the alter egos. What, did they catch a break or something? Anyways, we got a show to run. Welcome back to yet another video on moments in the rail industry for September of 2025. Buckle your seatbelts because there is a lot this time, and I mean some big ones too. Anyways, let's proceed on as usual. Starting off with something wholesome, North County Transit District celebrated 50 years of service, beginning in September of 1975. And with that, Sprinter got the new look that has been seen on the coaster trains so far. I don't exactly know what to say about it, it's something, at least. From what I heard, there are some who think it looks weird on the Sprinter trains, but oh well, I guess. Again, I can't exactly comment because I'm on the other side of the continent. On top of Anniversaries, BNSF also went through their anniversary, their 30-year anniversary since they were formed in 1995. Knowing BNSF, there might not be anything they'll be celebrating, and also considering the 25th anniversary units are just sticker units, yeah, it might be underwhelming. But at least we all know 30 years is pretty good. Metro North's first dual-mode charger, or rather, the first dual-mode charger ever, has officially went into service. With the charger entering service, it brings less emissions and potentially better workings on the third rail network. As referenced just before, this is the first dual-mode charger ever. So you know there might be some hiccups here and there, but it's great to see that this locomotive is officially in service. Oh my god, I love that sound. Anyways, moving on. Back on the topic of BNSF, and this is going to be a long one, their OCS train went to the east, as in Long Island. However, there were so many hurdles and locomotive switches that, wow, this is like a whole different video to begin with. Anyways, to try and summarize it here in like maybe a minute, their BNSF OCS train went to the east, but apparently they did not send in the right document of a specific car, causing this car to not be able to travel along any track that contained third rail, basically halting their initial journey, but they managed to get all the way to Long Island after a series of locomotive switches from BNSF to allegedly CSX locomotives to allegedly Amtrak locomotives, and then finally making their way to Long Island, and apparently the switcher locomotives that Long Island Railroad has pulled the OCS train the rest of the way. Yeah, some crazy stuff, and I guess this is what happens when you don't send the right document. Here we have a shot of the F-59PHs and PHIs on Ontario Northland. 3 F-59PHs and 1 F-59 PHI. Speaking of these units, one of them is currently being repainted. One of the many Metrolink units that are actually going to be repainted, refurbished, and start their journey on GO Transit. Eventually, of course, because it does take a while. But it is nice to actually get a progress update on these units since they passed by, well, in late 2024. Confederation GO Station, a new station, is set to open on October 27th. This station is located on the eastern side of Hamilton, Ontario. This station, in conjunction with West Harbour GO Station, will bring more connections to Hamilton. Speaking of GO Transit, the first CEM cab car, 302, the first cab car to be delivered and the first CEM cab car to ever exist, has turned 10. This cab car was delivered back in 2015, and by now possibly another one has turned 10, and eventually the first cab cars which were delivered in 2015 to 2016 will turn 10 as well. Interesting how the line of Bombardier bi-level cab cars, or just the bi-level in general, has lasted this long, and even the Series X has begun to turn 10. 5 agencies have these coaches and cab cars: Sunrail, GO Transit, of course GO Transit, Sounder, ACE, and North County Transit District. Alright, on to the more intense part of the video. This is ironically the only scripted part of the video because I actually just don't need scripts. Anyways, now on to Union Pacific. Oh lord. The CEO of Union Pacific had met up with Trump himself to talk about the merger. Trump himself did not actually comment on this, though the administration had seemed to favor it, saying things like, "This is definitely something we need." Oh boy, will they ever know. A deal was also put out that states that jobs will be protected after the merger to prevent downsizing. However, knowing Class 1s and knowing how things will be, I'm personally calling a massive lie on that one. Anyways, enough about UPNS, I'm not going to say the word. Anyway, because of this whole turmoil, it has been putting a lot of pressure on CSX, BNSF, and others. But specifically CSX, something happened. CEO Joe Hinrich was replaced by Stephen Angel. Many theories and possibilities came up as to why he was, but one big impact was the influence of Ancora, who seems to care more about shareholders than the railroad itself. Yeah, this is one of the many possibilities and reasons, but whatever the reason is, I hate it. CSX has been a rather good railroad in these past times, doing things and really getting me to appreciate them more, but with this happening, it seems like they are folding to the pressure instead of moving on. And it's made worse because something happened that I absolutely love as well. This happened.
CSX FG dispatcher Jacksonville announcing that the Blue Ridge subdivision is back open for service as of 0800 today, 09/23/25. Thank you everyone for their hard work, dedication in making this happen. Let's run some trains. CSX FG dispatcher Jacksonville.
Yeah, if you didn't hear from the audio, the Blue Ridge subdivision, a subdivision utterly destroyed by Hurricane Helene last year, had officially reopened a couple days ago as of the making of this video. But for this to happen, on top of another thing that happened, is crazy. If you're wondering what the other thing I'm referring to the expanded Howard Street Tunnel, which recently reopened to allow double-stack intermodal trains. This project, in conjunction with the fact that the Key Bridge, which collapsed in March of 2024, is going to help the ports of Baltimore there. These two things happening back to back of each other, the Blue Ridge subdivision reopening after the hurricane situation, and then the Howard Street Tunnel being expanded to allow double stacks to allow more transportation of goods, is why I really love CSX. But because of this situation now happening with the pressure really being put on them, and then for some reason shareholders being concerned, they don't need to be a concern in this case. Oh my god, I'm going on a rant. Let me calm down a sec. Yeah, this whole situation being, CSX having good things, and then suddenly this situation happening with, it seems like the influence of Ancora and potentially others being the reason why the CEO was basically outcasted and then a new CEO coming in, is not a good thing. It isn't. Like, I could go on a whole video talking about why this isn't, but I will not because this is Moments in the Rail Industry, not a designated video for a designated topic. But yeah, this is not really a good time right now. And speaking of not good time, the STB is proposing a schedule for review of the UPNS merger. The board wants to build flexibility into the schedule, while the railroads have considered setting specific deadlines for each step in the process. Oh my god. They're actually thinking about it! The fact they're incorporating some form of flexibility into this is... no, this is not a good sign at all. They're proposing a procedural schedule which will follow as part of the review. They're thinking about it! This is not a good time to exist or be in the rail industry. Geez, the only good thing about Union Pacific right now is 4014 getting the ears. Gee, really going back to the Challenger days, huh? Where did Nix go? Oh, well, I guess we gotta pick someone else now. Metro began the test of a prototype cafe car in hopes of improving ridership experience and potentially attracting new riders. This car will be circulating the Metro network over the next month or two. They are also looking for rider feedback on this cafe car. CPKC and Transport Canada are finalizing a decision on creating a bypass around the city of Lac-Mégantic. This city was the site of a destructive train wreck, which basically destroyed the city. If the project is approved, this will bring trains around the city at a much further distance than instead of basically through it. I guess you could say this will also relieve the people living there, as being a part of the site of a terrible derailment, it could have definitely put some PTSD on them, and having the tracks relocated again will possibly relieve them. A former Michigan Central coaling tower has been demolished as of the making of this video. This iconic structure, which had Amtrak trains going under it, is officially gone. It has stood for decades and I think even over a century if I'm correct. And last on my list, TTC's Line 6, the Finch West LRT, has entered a revenue service demonstration as of September 20th. This is the final stage in where after that they will basically open this line after a review. This is the first of 3 LRT lines in the GTA, Line 5, 6, and 10, to be under an RSD. And it's looking like it will be the first line to even open. There is of course a video I made on Line 6, so I won't go into too much detail, you can watch it here. Alright, that essentially brings this Moments in the Rail Industry video to an end. There was a lot, and frankly that was almost a rant video. But anyways, as usual, that's pretty much it, and you'll see me in November. Seriously, where did Nix go, and why did I have to do the rest of the video for? Oh, you'd be surprised. What the?